Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Boomcast. I am here again with my good friend Scott Grenke, who is a longtime comic book enthusiast. And today we are talking about Marvel characters. Scott, what do you think about that?
That is awesome. I love Marvel characters.
All right, so we might as well just get started. We're going to talk about 6 Marvel characters chosen for us by the virtual comics intelligence. So let's ask it and see what's first.
Blade.
Oh boy, Scott, a good one right off the bat. Blade. I've always liked Blade, but I really didn't get into Blade until the adaptation, the movie adaptation.
The film, yes.
Then I went back and started looking at the history and stuff. But I realized that Blade's older than I thought. So when did Blade first come around?
Blade's first appearance was in Tomb of Dracula number 10 in 1973.
73 is even before I started reading comic books. I had no idea this character was that old.
The major part of his first existence was as a supporting character in Tomb of Dracula, which ran for 75 issues.
Tomb of Dracula, was that part of the horror comics?
Yes.
Of Marvel at the time? And then, so the other vampire character would be Morbius, but that was a villain in the Spider-Man canon. Okay.
Well, and we're going to mention Morbius later because he came to have a certain effect on Blade past a certain point, but we have to build up to that.
Okay.
So most people know Blade, of course, from the 1998 film.
Super popular. Yeah.
And interesting to note that the Blade film was probably the best received Marvel-based film
up to that point, right?
Of that point.
For sure.
And the Marvel film and TV, mainly the film adaptations had just been horrible up to that point.
Truth, my friend, truth. But Blade... excellent.
It's Blade, a relatively minor character, suddenly put in the big spotlight. But there are some big differences between Blade, the film character, and Blade, the Marvel character.
I noticed that, yeah. And I didn't realize that.
Yeah, Blade the Marvel character, originally was not a vampire. Mm-hmm. He wasn't a vampire that could walk around during the daytime. His mother, who worked in a brothel, was attacked by a vampire, Deacon Frost. That remained true to the film. While he was being born, he was affected. So a vampire enzyme did enter his blood, and he was affected by it, but he wasn't a vampire. How it affected him is that he couldn't be turned by a vampire bite.
So he was just immune.
Yeah, he was a human, but he was immune to vampires. And until the Blade vampire film, that is exactly what he was, a skilled human fighter.
Really?
And he had a very distinctive green jacket that he wore, and he had wooden blades, and that was his main weapon.
Scott is showing me a photo, an early rendition of Blade, and it looks nothing like what most people would think Blade looks like. So this guy looks like James Brown in a green jacket.
That green jacket was like, that was his call. That was his visual look.
Up until the time of the film?
Up until the time of the film.
Has the character been retrofitted in comics?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
His first solo story outside of Tomb of Dracula was in Vampire Tales number 8 from 1974. So he did, that was a black and white Marvel magazine. Okay. But he didn't have his own self-title until 1994. So it was in front of the film.
Right.
But he didn't have his own title until 1994. Now, he got a little resurgence when the 90s so-called ghostwriter came around. We can get into that one day.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Notice I say so-called ghostwriter.
Yeah.
So Ghost Rider ushered in. It was under the banner. It was an event called the Midnight Suns.
Yeah.
And the other horror titles that came back, you had Morbius, Night Stalkers, which preceded Blade's solo title, but that was Blade, Hannibal King, who was a vampire detective, and Frank Drake, who was a human descendant of Dracula. And the three of them were the Night Stalkers, and that title was around for 1992 to 1994.
No kidding. Okay.
Okay.
So it's just a vampire book. But are they is it the tone of it, is it hero tone or is it like horror tone?
That whole line was more action oriented.
Yeah, okay.
Touches of horror, but it was more action. And then Blade had his first solo title, Blade the Vampire Hunter, in 1994 to 1995. It lasted for 10 issues. He had a couple of one-shots, just single-issue releases in 98. And also in 98, there was a 6-issue miniseries announced, and only 3 of them got released. So it was like, three issues never published. Well, I'm just assuming poor sales, which, although I will say, if you intend to release a limited series, which is limited from the start, it's rude.
It is rude. You should just do it.
It's rude to stop publishing midway through. Just complete the damn series.
Like I said, I'm way more familiar with Blade post-movie. But it sounds like this was a very minor character. His fan base really couldn't have come from the comics. They would have to build a new fan base, right?
Another interesting thing, though, is that as big as the films were, they still were never able to build a long, successful series off of Blade in the comics.
Really? No kidding.
His longest run ever was 12 issues.
No kidding.
And that was in 2007.
Oh, I would have just assumed that after Blade, he would have had a monthly, continuous.
His monthlies have mostly run 6 issues to 10 issues. They just don't last. Now, after the film, of course, almost immediately his look was retrofitted to the film.
Yeah, because that look that you just showed me, that wouldn't hold water today. That is James Brown. That's James Brown in a green jacket. Like they did the same thing with Luke Cage, didn't they? They didn't put him in the traditional
yellow
look.
shirt.
The yellow and the headband and all that jazz. Right. Modern times. Times change. Yeah.
Blade in the Marvel Comics did eventually have vampire powers, but he still didn't get it from turning into a full vampire. He was bitten by Morbius, who himself is not a true vampire. And his nickname is Morbius the Living Vampire.
Right.
Because he never died.
Right.
Morbius has vampire-like powers. At least initially, Morbius's victims would not rise from the dead or anything because he's not a real vampire.
Yeah.
But Morbius bit Blade, and then his blood interacted with Blade in a strange way.
Yeah.
And then Blade started to have, and they called him a dampire.
Those dampires.
Yeah, those dampires. But that was when Blade got the strength, and some of the abilities of a vampire, and that in comics, that's when he started to be called the Daywalker.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I'm almost certain that happened after the film. If that happened during the Midnight Suns, or during his first solo series, that actually would have preceded the film.
Yeah. So they took it from him.
Yeah, I would have to go back and really look at when that happened.
Okay. But either way, so one of them took inspiration from the other. The Daywalker thing was a film invention or not.
I'm almost certain that I never heard Daywalker
until after
in the comics till after the film.
So it sounds like the film just took all of this lore and simplified it, which you have to do in a film. So that's fine. I like it, dude. I mean, I like Blade. I never read too much of it in the comics because I guess there just wasn't a lot of it.
And there's still not a lot.
There's still not a lot, huh?
No.
That's too bad. Big fan of the movie, though. What about his power set now is like it is in the movies in the comics? So he's a vampire who can walk in the day. what did they say in the movie? All of our strengths, none of our weaknesses.
Yeah.
Right? Cool. Midnight Suns, that's kind of a team book, right?
That Midnight Suns was more of a banner applied to a storyline. But
oh, okay. That sounds cool.
There's another title too, very short-lived. I think it was just called The Dark Hold. And it was like tales of the book, The Dark Hold.
The Dark Hold is what they were used in Doctor Strange, right? They were calling the book The Dark Hold.
The Dark Hold is essentially just like the Book of the Dead in Evil Dead.
Okay, gotcha.
It's that type of a book.
Gotcha. Cool. All right, man. Excellent. Blade. I'm a fan of the movies. I don't know much about the comics. Although, man, looking at that James Brown picture, dude, I kind of want to go back and look at that, man. That looks pretty awesome. And his weapons are wood because...
they were wood.
They were wood.
Okay. Then it got... again, with the movie, everything turned into... Now it's all silver blades.
Right. Oh, yeah, silver, of course. Yeah. Silver work. Yeah. I think we're fans of Blade. Cool character. It doesn't sound like there's too much to... You could probably read. You could probably collect all the Blade books fairly easily. Sounds like, right?
It would be very easy to collect all of his solo series.
Okay.
And you could get them really cheaply, too. Wonderful guest appearance in Deadpool versus Wolverine.
Yeah.
Which was a lot of fun.
That was great.
Other than that, obviously that movie trilogy peaked out quite a while ago.
Yeah.
There is talk of a new Blade film, and in terms of that, as with most of these things, I'm like,
I guess,
wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they've been talking about it forever. But
they've been talking about it, and I think a lot of people are resistant to a non-Wesley Snipes Blade.
I think there is that. Snipes, he's Blade.
Yeah,
Snipes is Blade. You wouldn't want to see Indiana Jones played by, Chris Hemsworth or anything.
While these actors are still alive, why not let them continue to play that role?
Yeah, adjust the story for the age.
All actors, just like all people, have an expiration date.
Well, yeah, that's true.
What I'm saying is, you can always recast past that.
Yeah,
and then that's understandable. We're not gonna let this character remain dead just because the person who originally played them
makes sense.
Is gone.
I'm with you. All right, Blade, we're fans. All right, let's move on. Let's see what's next.
The Punisher.
Oh, geez. The Punisher. Holy smokes. I love the Punisher, Scott. I've always loved the Punisher. I collected the books. I loved it because he was a true anti-hero. This dude was badass.
Yeah.
Right? But how long? When did that first appear? When did he first come about? Because I thought he was a little bit more modern.
Punisher, first appearance, Amazing Spider-Man 129 from 1974.
Oh, well, I'm wrong again. 74, man. Because I collected mostly through the 80s. Mm-hmm. So I thought that the runs that I had were like a newer character. I didn't realize that he was guesting in other books, I guess.
Most of his early appearances were in Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay, Spider-Man villain.
And he was, officially a Spider-Man villain, and of course, Spider-Man disapproved of him killing people. Yeah. And although occasionally Spider-Man would team up with him to take down someone else, despite him not liking Punisher's methods. Punisher's first appearance, he's trying to kill Spider-Man because he's sort of buying into Jameson's view of Spider-Man as a villain and a menace.
Oh, no, that's interesting.
And he's actually teamed up with the Jackal.
The Jackal?
The Jackal. Another Spider-Man villain.
The Jackal.
But later on, he recognizes Spider-Man's true character.
Right.
and Spider-Man's no longer a target of his, and he actually recognizes the Jackal's true character.
Interesting. Okay.
So he, that was a pairing that lasted for one issue.
My favorite story with the Punisher has got to be the What If book. What if the Punisher killed the Marvel Universe? Awesome stuff. Because we talked about the What If books and how just they're so brutal all the time, and I really love that one because it kind of puts you in the mindset of the Punisher just through his planning and intellect and like strategic knowledge was able to take out superheroes, not being powered himself, which is, I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a well-written book, even though it was, everybody died, but it was still a cool book.
So Punisher appeared the most in Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah. Of course, he started to appear in Spectacular Spider-Man, which was Spider-Man's second published book.
Yep. After Amazing, right?
Right. Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. He also had one guest appearance in Captain America. And the other guest appearance is one which was transformative for him because he made an appearance in Daredevil during Frank Miller's landmark run.
Right.
And that guest appearance, because of how Miller handled him, greatly increased his popularity. Yeah. He was already popular. Yeah. I remember as a kid, I always liked the Punisher's appearance in Amazing Spider-Man. So he didn't get his own, actually sort of like Blade, he did have some early solo stories, but they were once again published in the black and white Marvel.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he did have some early stories, solo stories there. But in terms of a self-titled book, his first self-titled book was in 1986.
Okay, then that's where I would have got it then, yeah.
And it was a 5-issue miniseries.
Yep, I had that, yep.
It was written by Stephen Grant and drawn by the incomparable Mike Zeck, amazing artist. That miniseries launched the Mania. Yeah. Whatever popularity he had had before that, like after that series, he was everywhere.
Yeah, everybody wanted him in their book, I suppose. And he's such a cool character.
Oh, and he made so many guest appearances.
Yeah.
His first ongoing started, in 1987, and that first ongoing lasted for 104 issues.
Oh, wow.
It was 1987 to 1995.
Yeah.
And also during that period, at one point he had 3 ongoing series at the same time.
Oh, now that I didn't know.
In addition to guest appearances, miniseries, and one-shots.
Holy cow.
So it was a glut of Punisher material.
Right.
And even like Punisher War Journal lasted 80 issues. I'm going to say at the end of that run, like many things, they had oversaturated.
Sure.
And the popularity started to wane a bit.
3 books,
and they canceled all 3 books.
What? All at once?
But give the
guy a chance, man.
No chance.
Jeez.
That being said, the Punisher has never been out of publication for long.
Yeah.
He's had numerous ongoing series past that point.
Yeah.
Almost to I think they're on volume 11 or 12 or something now. It's like
still published currently.
No. He's in a non-publishing period. But
okay.
We're going to work up to that.
Okay, great.
The gaps, unlike Blade, who's had a lot bigger gaps, Punisher has been continuously published for a pretty long time, even though they constantly restart the numbering. So none of his other volumes ever hit that 104. Sometimes, though, Marvel cheats and they just add... They're like, well, let's say we never canceled, and we add up all the numbers together. And sometimes they'll do like retroactive numbering to say, look, we'd be at 200 issues now if we'd ever stopped.
Well, see, that kind of makes more sense to me because it's just you put the book on a hiatus, and you come back. So when you basically reboot, is it a different book entirely, or is it still titled the same thing?
It might still be
volume 1.
Yeah, it'll still be titled the Punisher, but they start with a new number 1, and
okay.
And most of the volumes over the last decade probably maybe 20 issues. their renumbering scheme is annoying.
Yeah, it sounds like there's no. I wonder why they make the decisions to do that. With some books, take a hiatus and they come back and just jump back where they left off. That's interesting.
I will say he's been on some crazy rides since the collapse of his big 3 titles.
Okay.
He's minimally died, like really truly died in the Marvel Universe twice.
Wow. Okay. If you say so.
No. Like legit dead. Not like, oh, we thought he was dead and he came back. No, legit dead. Because after the first time he died, he came back in a Marvel Knights series where he was like a supernatural Punisher.
Was he made that way from some other outside source, or he just come back as a spirit, or what's the deal there?
It was a pretty bad series. I don't remember much from it. But he was like an undead supernatural Punisher.
Was his will too strong to die? Is that the thing?
Once again, I would. You're going to ask me to go back and look at those really horrid issues that take
I wouldn't do that.
Take him so far away from what he is, from the original concept. And then you had another series followed that with Supernatural Punisher with the Wolverine, and thankfully that was it for that iteration.
Yeah.
And then after that, the spirit world spit him back out into the living. Don't ask me how that works, but he came back to the living as the Punisher we all know and love.
Yeah.
And then Garth Ennis had a very long run with the Punisher. First doing a 12-issue miniseries, then a 37-issue regular series, and then it bounced over to Marvel's Max, where Ennis could let loose with language and gore.
Right.
And that series lasted, I think, roughly 80 issues.
Right.
Although I think Ennis made it to issue 60 of that.
Yeah.
So like the last leg of that were other people, but Ennis really wrote the bulk of that run.
Yeah. The Marvel Max imprint, is that similar to what like Vertigo or something was to DC? They like a more mature iteration.
Similar. It let Marvel have characters that swore a lot and increased the gore level. Huh. I will say this though, the Marvel Max series though really tended to focus on Marvel Universe characters, whereas Vertigo eventually spun away from the DC characters and opened it up to just unique and original concepts that had nothing to do with the DC universe.
Okay. Yeah, one thing I like about the Punisher is it's okay, I guess, when he mixes with superheroes, but to me, it's more of a street level crime fighting. He's a vigilante, and I just want him to stay like a vigilante, like the best at what he does. He just takes out the trash, but he does it in such a way that he is on the radar of all of the hero characters. Yeah.
The second time he died.
Oh. Good.
The second time he died, he was killed by Daken, who is the son of Wolverine. Oh. And he was actually decapitated.
Ooh.
And then a legion of monsters, including Morbius and a bunch of other Marvel monsters, put him back together as like a Frankenstein creature. and his title was actually called Frankencastle.
No.
It was.
No.
It was. Until the Bloodstone brought him back to life.
Yeah.
That was another very far from the original concept period.
Yeah. I just like the fact that he's not powered.
Oh,
and it's just all
absolutely.
intellect. It's like Bruce Wayne. It's mostly intellect, right?
One thing that didn't get away from the core concept, but it was an interesting period in the book, and it's actually one of the very high-priced Punisher books, was when Punisher somehow he got a hold of. I haven't worked my way up to that run yet, but he got a hold of the War Machine armor.
Oh, I think I read something about that when I was looking through some stuff.
And it was a select number of issues of Punisher.
That makes sense.
That does make sense, because that's not away from the character, because that's just more high-powered weaponry.
That's it. Now that makes sense. I would like to see that too. That sounds like
I wouldn't want him to remain that way forever, and he didn't.
Right.
But it certainly falls in line with.
Oh yeah,
with
that's
what
awesome.
Hey, I'm fighting high-powered villains.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my tool.
His origin, though, is similar to what a lot of people would know from the show, right? His family was murdered, right? That's correct.
His family was massacred
Right.
Wrong Place, Wrong Time.
Yeah.
And they were killed by the mafia.
Right.
The TV show did introduce this weird kind of subplot, like maybe they were targeted, not Wrong Place, Wrong Time, but targeted because Frank Castle knew some military things that he shouldn't have known. If
really?
you remember that from the Frank Castle TV series, in Netflix, they sort of hint that it was more than just an accident.
Yeah, one of the movies played with that too, Thomas Jane, where they were targeted. The Thomas Jane thing is pretty brutal. That scene. I'm not like a huge fan of the movie, but so many family members.
Oh yeah,
basically the whole bloodline gets wiped out. And that's pretty hard stuff. I know that the Netflix series added this mental issue that he got from it, like a post-traumatic stress thing.
Right.
That made him like relive the emotion all the time. It was a small thing, but I don't think that that's needed. I think just, I'm going to wipe everybody out because why not? He's got nothing to lose. He literally has nothing to lose, this guy, right? He's lost everything already.
As someone who's lived with multiple media iterations of the Punisher, the first Punisher film with Dolph Lundgren.
You're going to say it's a classic, right? You're going to say it's a classic?
No, I'm not.
Oh, Scott!
And I remember even Stan Lee complaining about the film because Stan Lee said, well, why doesn't he have why doesn't his shirt have the skull logo?
Right.
And they said, well, because that's too much like a comic book. He's a comic book character. But I'll say no fault of Dolph's.
No.
I think Dolph, in terms of acting, he played it great. It just wasn't the right adaptation.
Yeah, it's interesting you say this because they've done reiterations of his character on television movies for a while. So I guess because he is popular, I guess they look at the numbers. So it makes sense, I guess.
It's amazing that they took so many tries to get it right because the Punisher follows the scheme that most martial arts or gritty crime films follow, which is a simple revenge story.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like, what's so difficult about that?
Right. I just like the Punisher book a lot. I don't think it was the Ennis version. This would have been in the 80s. Right. But whoever was on that run, I was like, I liked it a lot.
You're probably reading that really long run, the 104 issue run.
It was that. Yeah.
And they had lots of different artists. They had lots of artists, lots of different writers that walked on and walked off during that run. So But John, I just want to say that John Bernthal is like a fan's dream come true.
I think so too.
Like disrespect to anyone else who played the Punisher, but like John Bernthal is like definitive Punisher. Yeah.
I think a lot of that has to do with the scripts. I mean, it's just a smart show. And I never did see the last season of it. I really should, but
which his appearances in the Netflix Daredevil were just amazing. That was second season. Season, and that was just hardcore amazing.
and just hardcore. Yeah, oh, man, he was brutal. It's like good old Netflix, man.
The way Punisher should be.
That's great. I'm a fan of Punisher. I really am. And he's got no special skills other than his training.
Correct. Still.
Yeah. Still. All right. Well, excellent. Okay, let's move on. Let's see who's next.
Black Cat.
Oh, okay. Well, this is interesting, Scott. Black Cat. She's hot. I gotta say, man. I was a big fan of her outfit growing up, man.
I think that has been Black Cat's secret to success.
I think so too. And that white hair.
Yeah.
There's something about her, man.
So her first appearance was in Amazing Spider-Man 194.
Yeah, Spider-Man. Yeah.
From 1979.
Yeah.
An interesting fact was that Marv Wolfman had originally intended her to first appear in Spider-Woman.
Do you remember Marvel published those index books of all the characters? You know what I'm talking about? With all their powers and all that stuff. And I do remember Black Cat on there because I read them all, of course.
Yeah.
I was like super into it.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't know the Spider-Woman thing. I knew that she was a Spider-Man. That's her primary origin.
Yeah.
I thought she was like is she kind of like a Catwoman clone from DC?
That seems to be the easy relation to build.
Yeah.
And she looks like essentially a Catwoman sort of clone.
Yeah.
I mean, she is a cat-based villain who is a burglar.
Right.
But according to Marv Wolfman, he based her on a Tex Avery cartoon, Bad Luck Blackie, in which a black cat brought misfortune to anyone in close proximity.
Because the bad luck thing is a part of it, right? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
No. It's a part of it.
Yeah. It's a power.
So
almost,
initially, Black Cat had no superpowers.
Right.
But then she had a test induced by the Kingpin that gave her the psionic ability to affect probability fields. And that was, again,
of course,
the bad luck for her enemies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But her powers have been messed with a lot over the years. Doctor Strange briefly removed her bad luck powers, but the magical tampering gave her cat-like abilities.
Ooh.
Giving her night vision, retractable talons.
She could smell mice?
Superhuman speed, strength, agility, and endurance, proportionate to a cat.
I love the proportionate thing.
And
every time I see that,
bad luck powers were eventually restored by Dr. Trauma, who I love Marvel. I have no idea who Dr. Trauma is. I have no idea who Dr. Trauma is.
Well, let me just say, the bad luck thing, I think we mentioned this on Scarlet Witch too, the probability thing. I think that there is so much storytelling potential there. I don't know why they would want to remove that. I just think that's such an interesting...
Not only that, it fits in with the lore of black cats.
Right.
So why would you remove that? Why would you remove that? That's stupid. And I think they just should have left her character at that. That should have been
for sure.
That. Probably the most interesting thing about Black Cat was the relationship that she formed with Spider-Man.
Yeah. Where
the two were a couple for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And the most unique thing about that relationship, as opposed to anyone else that Spider-Man was ever with, was that Black Cat was in a romantic relation with Spider-Man, not Peter Parker.
Interesting. Okay.
So everyone else, if you're talking Gwen Stacy, Mary Jane,
right?
Initially, so Gwen Stacy never knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Jane Watson, initially for a long time, did not know that Peter Parker and Spider. Eventually, thankfully, before they were married, eventually Mary Jane Watson knew the truth about Peter Parker.
Yeah, but Black Cat's just infatuated as Spider-Man.
She started dating him and being with him as Spider-Man, to the point when she had like a mental breakdown when he removed his mask.
Oh, that's okay.
Like she wanted mask on.
She's in love with the myth.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And Peter Parker was too common.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, for her. I mean, it makes sense for her. Like I said, I do remember issues of Spider-Man with Black Cat in it. I don't remember if there was ever a run of her. Like she had a book. If there were, I did not have it.
She's had some short-lived. She's had some miniseries.
Yeah.
And some short-lived solo titles.
Okay. Yeah, I just think it's the look, man. It's a great look for a character.
She does best as a supporting character. In Spider-Man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, and the power set has changed, you say, but you went through that whole thing. But I don't want to get back into Dr. Trauma because I don't know who the hell that is either. Who the hell is Dr. Trauma? But who knows, man? There's so many characters.
Someone educate us on Dr. Trauma.
Yeah, please, man. Send us an email. Anyway, has she ever been like part of a team or anything? I don't know if she's been part of a team.
She was part of Heroes for Hire.
Oh,
for a little while.
Yeah, and that makes sense because those are street level characters, right? Okay, that makes sense. That was Luke Cage's thing, right? He was part of that?
Yeah. Well, Luke Cage was the originator of, because Luke Cage, his original series Wasn't called Luke Cage. Wasn't called Power Man. It was called Luke Cage, Hero
Heroes
for Hire.
Right.
That was
Right.
the original title of his series.
Yeah. Okay.
Then it turned into Power Man.
Yeah.
And then Power Man and Iron Fist.
Yep.
And when he paired up with Iron Fist, that's when they actually formed a corporation called Heroes for Hire.
Yeah. Can I just say that Power Man and Iron Fist, I freaking love that book. All right. I love that book. I don't know why. For some reason, I just really liked it because they're two people. You wouldn't think they would be working together, right? And I don't know, man. I loved every issue of that.
70s classic.
On. Yeah. I think I just really liked Iron Fist.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because I was really into like that era. Martial arts were like really big, right? And Iron Fist was awesome. Now, I'm not going to get into the Netflix thing because I know you know your opinion of that.
Well,
but
we're also getting very far away from Black Cat.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, Black Cat's awesome. She looks great. All right. we can move on.
Yeah.
She's cool. All right, let's see what's next.
Juggernaut.
Okay, Juggernaut. I'm a big fan of the Juggernaut, okay? It's such a simple character.
Who doesn't love the Juggernaut?
Everybody likes the Juggernaut, you know? I was always confused about where he stands in the strength thing because it seemed like it was kind of wishy-washy.
Yeah.
You know, but I know he's one of the top strength characters for sure, right?
Well, it might be wishy-washy because he's so invulnerable.
Yeah.
And his main power is invulnerability.
Correct.
But then with that, then you get, yes, he's invulnerable, but how strong is he? And he's typically been shown to be very strong.
Yeah.
At least Colossus level. But he's duked it out with the Hulk on many occasions.
Yeah.
So that should give
that.
some indication of how strong he is.
I think I mentioned last time that I was always a big fan of any time the strength characters met. I don't know, it just jazzed me up, you know. And Juggernaut was one of those guys, you know, but he's powered by another dimensional thing, right?
Okay, let's get into Juggernaut. He originally appeared 1965, X-Men number 12. He is
that's early, yeah.
Kane Marco, the stepbrother of Charles Xavier.
Right.
The Juggernaut is one of the original bullies of the Marvel universe.
Okay.
Like he was a mean bully stepbrother to Charles Xavier. Like the worst brother that you would not want to have. And that was his, that was his deeper origin. He stands unique in X-Men villains in the sense that he was one of the earliest X-Men villains to not be a mutant.
Right, he's not a mutant. Right.
Not a mutant at all.
Yeah.
Now, I say this. I have no idea if Marvel has retrofitted him to be a mutant because they always like to do that.
Right.
But his origin, he is not a mutant.
Right.
He finds the gem of Satoric. And that gem gave him the Juggernaut powers.
Yeah.
He wears the helmet to protect him from Xavier's mind powers.
Right.
Otherwise, Xavier could put him on freeze.
Sure.
You know. So the helmet is to protect him from Xavier's powers. Everything else, though, that's the only protection he needs.
Let me go back to this Jewel. If I'm not mistaken, he's kind of like an avatar for another being, right? Isn't there a...
Satoric is one of Marvel's
He's like a cosmic
He's like
thing,
a mystical entity.
Okay, yeah.
And in a neat bit of continuity, Doctor Strange often calls upon Satoric.
Okay.
And one of his very common spells he casts are the Crimson Bands of Satoric.
Right.
Which would be red bands that would contract and hold a foe.
Oh, okay.
So not even anything to do with invincibility. But I always like that okay, so this is a Marvel deity
that
didn't just grant powers to Cain Marko
Right.
becoming the Juggernaut. He's someone that Doctor Strange calls upon
Right.
to use in spells.
I think that's cool. The whole Marvel interconnected world that they've built is pretty fascinating, and complicated. He's like a primary X-Men villain. He shows up all the time, and this dude, even in the movies, I mean, he's a key person to go to in the films too. Everybody wants to see Juggernaut, but is the charge magical then? I mean, since he has this charge that can't be stopped, that's part of the deity power.
Right. Here's what the Juggernaut is described as physically unstoppable once in motion.
That's what I'm trying to key in. I thought that was his primary thing, that he cannot be stopped once he gets moving forward. Although people can just step out of the way, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much of a power it is.
The only character to have stopped Juggernaut while he was in motion as an act of pure physical strength was the Hulk when he wore a horseman of apocalypse and empowered with celestial technology.
Okay. So it's technology.
So it's like an amped up Hulk.
Right. Yeah, I've liked him. He is mean. It's a cool character. People like seeing him.
He did for a little period in either the 90s or the early 2000s. At one point during the X-Men, he actually joined that pantheon of reformed villains, and he was actually
I didn't know that.
He was part of the X-Men for a while.
Oh, okay.
Pretty behind with the current comics.
Me too.
But so I'm not certain where he's at in terms of villainhood or hero-dom, since a lot of these reformed ones might wiggle back and forth.
I mean, I don't know what it is in comics. He's certainly a villain in the film world.
Oh yeah,
he's a very interesting visual. I think I lump him in with somebody like we talked last time, like RHINO. He's got more personality and there's more to him than RHINO.
There have been again in the modern era. I'm mainly familiar just because of covers.
Yeah.
It looks like there's towards the end of X-Men Volume 1. I think Colossus gains. Well, there's a cover with Colossus wearing Juggernaut armor.
Wait a minute. This sounds vaguely familiar. I may have seen this cover. But who knows? There's so many stories. There's so many stories to keep track of.
And even that's an old book by now, way old.
Right. But here on this show, we're trying to like the base character.
Right.
What is the primary character? And I think I do like Juggernaut. I was always excited to see him in a book. I'll just say that. Because you knew there's going to be a bunch of artwork with things smashing and I like that stuff.
He made a huge impression in the original X-Men series. Fighting the original X-Men.
Yeah.
And when in the 70s, when the all new, all different, the international X-Men came around, one of their big early popular fights was when, the new X-Men met the Juggernaut.
Right.
And that was a big deal.
Yeah.
I'll say one other thing. Juggernaut actually has one storyline outside of X-Men that was fairly popular, and he made an appearance in Amazing Spider-Man. And and he fought Spider-Man, and it was early John Romita Jr. art. So it doesn't even look like his current artwork at all. But it was a really good issue.
Yeah.
And it made a big splash.
Yeah. What do you think of John Romita Jr.'s early artwork? Because I was kind of underwhelmed by some stuff.
Oh, his early artwork?
Because
that was a good issue though.
Yeah.
I like both his styles. I like early.
It's a style choice, I guess. It's a style.
Romita Jr. I know a lot of people are turned off on his more exaggerated artwork that he's doing now, but I dig it.
Well, I think that there's a few artists that went really exaggerated.
Yeah.
Who's the guy that was doing Spider-Man for a long time? McFarlane, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, McFarlane's one of the biggest.
Yeah, McFarlane
ever to do.
Yeah, but I remember his Spider-Man being very stylized.
Very stylized, ultra detailed.
Yeah. That's good stuff, man. All right, the Juggernaut. We're fans. All right, let's see who's next.
Jessica Jones.
Okay, Scott, Jessica Jones, I got to be honest. Other than the TV show, I really don't know much about Jessica Jones. Okay, I did not, I don't think I ever had a book with her in it. I'll just be honest. So, what's the deal with Jessica Jones?
With Jessica Jones. She's one of the youngest characters in terms of how long she's been in publication.
Okay.
Her first appearance was in 2001 in a book called Alias.
2000s. Okay, so that's pretty new.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty new. Yeah.
Well, most of the other stuff we're looking at is in the 70s, you know?
I was going to say that most of these characters that everybody knows, they're from the 70s and the 80s. Right.
Jessica Jones' first series was just called Alias. It ran for 28 issues. Later on, Marvel didn't use the Alias anymore, and I think that had to do with the TV series.
Alias.
A completely different TV series called Alias that had nothing to do with Jessica Jones.
Right.
And I don't think, it probably wasn't because they couldn't use it, but just to avoid confusion,
right.
I would think. One of the most interesting things about Jessica Jones is that the character almost didn't exist at all.
Yeah.
Because Brian Michael Bendis had originally conceived the series starring Jessica Drew, who was the original Spider-Woman.
Oh,
and also
right.
a detective.
So
Now,
it was going to be her?
It was going to be Jessica Drew.
Oh, okay.
Eventually, reading on the history of that, it doesn't sound like anything happened. He just at one point decided to go with the original character.
Yeah.
Kept the first name and changed the last name. But it is interesting to note that Jessica Jones almost did not exist at all.
Yeah.
That the original conception was Jessica Drew, the original Spider-Woman.
Interesting.
And that probably would have appeared because Jessica Drew had a time period where she stopped being Spider-Woman and other people were Spider-Woman, and she was kind of in a depowered state. So she would have been available to use as a detective.
Yeah, you just check her LinkedIn, see if she's available. Obviously, she's out of work.
That's she's out of work.
He might maybe just didn't want the baggage,
and and that now bringing the character in, Brian Michael Bendis. She's a brand new character, but Brian Michael Bendis didn't start her as like freshly entering the Marvel Universe with no interaction. He sort of created for her a retro history.
Oh, really? Okay.
Almost a la Century.
Just backdated her?
He backdated her.
Yeah, okay.
And he made her Jessica Jones being in high school with Peter Parker. And she was originally, she even had a superhero name and costume, and she was called Jewel.
Well, that sounds familiar. Maybe I'm thinking of the recording artist. Never mind.
And she had a relationship, or she was in the Avengers, but as a very low-level character.
I was going to say, I think the Jessica Jones TV show was one of my favorite ones, right? But it didn't really focus on her powers that much. You could tell she's strong, but there's no hint of how strong she is.
Yeah, she's strong, a little bit durable.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Right.
In the comics, she can fly, too.
Okay.
Which I'm glad the Netflix series didn't have that ability.
Yeah.
Because she can fly? Like, how?
There's no reality.
Why?
The Netflix shows are very reality based, like that, So that would not fly.
I'm glad. I'm glad Netflix dropped that ability.
I think so too. I think just the detective thing is what I like. She's got a detective agency.
Netflix series 1 with the Purple Man was such an amazing.
I think it's
season.
the best one.
And the emotions run so. It's so well written.
Yeah.
They run so deep in that show.
Yeah.
And the Purple Man.
Yeah. Yeah, there was
played by David Tennant.
David Tennant was really good in it. Yeah,
unbelievably.
yeah, he was really good. And there's stuff in it that's really disturbing.
No, well, that's it. Like we're
it's a very dark show. Yeah,
it really. I think it really shows what a person who could make anyone do anything just by telling them to do it.
Yeah,
like it shows that ultimate power corrupts ultimately.
Yeah,
like he's got no limits.
Absolutely. Yeah, you'd have to be a special person to resist. Not making people walk like a chicken or whatever.
Right, and it deals with her rape.
Yeah, it's a dark show. It's a very dark show. It is the darkest show. It's the darkest season.
I enjoyed the other 2 seasons, but they don't compare to the first one.
No, it felt like elevated from a superhero story. I mean, it was dark, right? And it took me by surprise when I watched it. I'm like, holy cow, man, this is really dark. And Ritter, who played the character, great. What great casting that was. Because I hadn't seen her. I saw her in the that little run she had in Breaking Bad, but man, was she good.
Agreed. Funny enough, that might be, and I love Colton as Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I think I like his appearance in season 1 of Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Better than his solo series.
I think I agree.
If only in the sense that season 1 of Jessica Jones is better.
It is
than both seasons of Luke Cage.
Yeah, but in the comics, where's her powers come from? Is this I mean, you say she can fly, so I mean that's obviously, there's got to be some tampering there, right? And don't tell me it was chemicals. All right.
Let's see. Jessica's father receives Disney World tickets from his boss, Tony Stark. On the way home, their car collides with a military convoy carrying radioactive chemicals.
No, you got to be kidding me. Get out of town. Are you serious?
I'm serious. I know. Well, wow. Was she like on the... Was this like the same truck that hit Daredevil?
I know.
Just like rolling down the street some more?
This guy needs to check his prescription.
Well, I guess Bendis went for a classic.
That's an old school.
That's a very old school origin.
Yeah.
Jessica later discovers her radiation granted her super strength, limited invulnerability, and, lest you lost it the first time, flight.
Oh yeah, she can fly. I don't know if I would like. I don't know what tone the comics are. I don't know if they're as dark as what the TV show portrays or anything, but I'm just not familiar.
Alias was a good comic book, but I actually think I like the TV series even more. It was very focused. One thing to note in the comics is that even though in the TV series she has a fling with Luke Cage, in the comics she married him.
Oh, right, because when I looked at her name,
and
it had a married name, a hyphenated name with Cage on it, right?
And they had a kid.
Yeah? Oh, boy.
I have no idea if that kid's still alive or what's going on with the kid.
I bet it's got powers or whatever.
Yeah.
Whoever it is. That's the way these things work.
Yeah. Her next series wasn't called Alias. It was called The Pulse. She moves from being a detective to a reporter for the Daily Bugle. And then past that, she did have another. She did have a series just called Jessica Jones.
Well, that's what I'm familiar with.
Right.
I thought that because there's not that many comic series with just a name of a person in it, right? So that's kind of unique. She
remains in the mix of things. She's not like a huge character.
I missed her entirely. I missed her, and I got to be honest. Until the TV show came out, I had no idea who Jessica Jones was. So it must have been super under the radar for me.
Her self-titled issue was like 18 issues.
Yeah,
which is good for
something just named Jessica Jones.
Yeah,
that's not something most young kids grab. So
And she had a limited series after that. She's not currently in publication,
right? And
other than getting plugs from any new series, I'm just going to put it out there, probably not likely to have a huge publishing history.
Yeah.
I think she'll always be in the Marvel pantheon now.
Sure.
She'll be there as a character, maybe the occasional short series or limited series here or there, and that's probably going to be about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but again, I just have no emotional connection with Jessica Jones ever growing up. I just didn't know who that was, you know. It's surprising to know
she wasn't around when you were growing up.
Yeah,
that's
that's right. You said 2000.
Yeah,
right?
2001.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I mean,
know.
she's a newer. She really is.
Right.
She's a.
So I wouldn't.
Okay, 24 years now, but still, in terms of comic characters, that's a relatively young character.
Yeah, that's short. Cool, Jessica Jones, excellent. All right, let's see who's next.
Gambit.
Gambit, Scott. I gotta say, I'm not too familiar with Gambit either. You know, because it was whenever all the books when I was collecting X-Men books, I don't think he was in the X-Men. You know, I must have just missed it. I'm familiar with him.
He's the second youngest character that we're looking at.
Okay.
Today.
Oh, so he wouldn't have been in that first iteration.
No, he debuted in 1990.
Oh, well then, okay, yeah.
So
the X-Men was well established.
Early 90s character.
Okay.
Around his first appearance, though, already there's controversy on what is his first appearance.
Oh, really?
And it was because of a publishing mishap.
Oh, no kidding.
His first appearance should have been, and many people consider it to be, Uncanny X-Men number 266.
Right.
Published in August of 1990.
Okay.
What should have been his second appearance would have been Uncanny X-Men Annual 14, which in story canon, that story occurs after Uncanny X-Men 266.
Okay.
But in a publishing mishap, that annual was published 3 weeks earlier than it should have been, and it actually hit the stands in July of 1990. So it hit the stands before 266.
Okay.
But chronologically, the story happens after.
I see. And that really only matters because it's an introduction of a character.
Right.
Right. So otherwise,
well,
the annuals.
But comic fandom doesn't like murky first appearances because that drives dollars.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, for collectors, right?
That drives dollars, and the key collector addicts that. If you want to cause chaos in a comic book forum, ask what Wolverine's first appearance is.
Oh, yeah. The Hulk, right?
And then just watch that column explode. Yeah. Because he appeared in one panel at the end of Incredible Hulk 180.
Yeah.
His first full appearance, like a full issue, is 181. And you'll get people fighting like cats and dogs about, well, he appeared in one panel, so that's his first appearance, period. and then the other people, well, that's a cameo. Look up what a cameo appearance, and they will
You
fight.
douchebag.
Yeah. Like they get really into it. So I mean, this kind of murkiness, like trust me, people would go at it.
Yeah.
On this. And it is important to them because that first, officially the first appearance should be the highest priced item.
Yeah, right.
So Gambit starts out with some murky, murkiness to his first appearance, but it's all due to a publishing error.
Yeah. Well, I think the character. I mean, I have seen him in comics. I mean, I'm not saying I've never seen him, but I think there's a lot of personality in that character. The power set's a little odd, but his
main, when you read the description, it talks about his ability to manipulate kinetic energy.
Yeah.
But if you're just reading the comics, his main power seems to be able to charge up objects.
Yeah.
With power, throw them, and they explode.
Right.
And of course, he's most famous for charging up cards.
Playing cards, right.
Playing cards.
Yeah.
And he throws them and they explode.
Yeah, which is a character trait that's kind of cool, right? And plus, he's Cajun, right?
Yeah. He's Cajun.
Yeah, so that's kind of, and there's not a lot of that around.
No.
So that's kind of cool.
I'm probably one of the few here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to say I don't hate Gambit,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm actually going to go out and say I'm not a Gambit fan.
I don't know enough about him to say I'm a fan. All right. I'm just saying.
His original costume, I don't hate it, but
Right.
I was never a fan of his costume.
Yeah.
And all the writers trying to approximate Cajun talk, I don't know. It just kind of irritated me.
In the written form,
it's kind of mix of
the accent,
mix of Cajun with English. I will say this in favor of Gambit, and he was introduced in relatively the same time period as two of my least favorite characters.
Yeah,
Cable. And Deadpool, and I know I'm.
Oh boy! Here come the comments.
I know. They're going to come after me for Deadpool. Was never a Deadpool fan.
You know what? I get it. All right, I get that. He's more of a device than like a character, right? I mean, it's the breaking the fourth wall thing is commentary on the comics kind of thing. It doesn't sit that well with me. But
actually, it just kind of boils down to personal taste with me. I like serious comics more than I like comedic comics, and and Deadpool being now hardcore comedic comics, it's not my cup of tea, and that's simply it.
Yeah.
But even like Deadpool was introduced, and he was serious before he became comedic.
Yeah.
I'm going to use Cable as the example, though, and this is one thing Gambit has over Cable.
Yeah.
Most of the times, I don't like comic characters who have vague powers.
Yeah. I can see that.
And I definitely don't like comic characters where their name sort of has nothing to do with their power.
Yeah.
So like with Cable, why is he called Cable? Because it looks like his arms are made of cables. Cable couldn't be a more and I know we're not talking about, I'll try to be quick on it.
Sure.
But Cable couldn't be a more complicated, convoluted character.
Yeah.
If you really he's the son of Cyclops and a Jean Grey clone, moved into the future, grew up in an alternate future, became infected by the virus that turned parts of him metal, telekinetic, telepathic, and he can set things on fire too. Despite this amazing set of powers, he somehow feels the need to carry around big guns. That's a hell of a convoluted mess.
Yeah.
And his name almost has nothing to do with any of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, you want to throw some more? Hey, how about giving him Flight 2? Well, actually, that would make sense with him because he's telekinetic.
Right.
But he's such a jumbled mess.
Yeah.
Now, in favor of Gambit, at least Gambit has a decisive power.
Right.
Charging objects, throw them, they explode. Right. I like that about Gambit.
Yeah. And he's a straight mutant.
And he's a regular mutant.
So
he doesn't come from an alternate future, doesn't come from an alternate past.
So the explanation of the powers is really mute. I mean, we just accept if you're a mutant.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I don't, the connection to from his name though to the power, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Gambit, well, he likes to gambit.
Yeah.
Although I don't know. I guess that's better than Charger.
Has he always been a hero, or has he sometimes been anti-hero? Or is he?
Most of my reading of his was his early appearances, so I can't say that he's never been a villain.
Yeah,
but he's pretty much been a hero.
But he's an X-Man, right?
Yeah, he's an X-Man.
Okay, all right. Probably had his own series by this time, sure.
Oh, he's had multiple.
Yeah,
he's had multiple solo series. Romantically in comics, he's usually paired up with Rogue.
Oh,
so
okay.
Gambit and Rogue. In fact, they even had at least one of those series was Rogue and Gambit.
Really?
Yep.
What? Now I know we're getting in the weeds, but as a young man, you think about these things.
Oh, yeah.
Now, how does that happen with Rogue?
Oh, why I know exactly. Rogue is always a.
You can't touch her, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. I guess you just got to accept it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's off panel.
Right.
So,
well, nowadays, maybe not.
Oh, yeah.
Nowadays,
You're right.
maybe not.
You're right. What do you think of the cinematic interpretation? Because there's been 2, right?
And he, appeared in Wolverine Origins?
Yeah. Small role, yeah.
Small role, but he did that. And then I know he appeared in Deadpool versus Wolverine.
And I don't understand.
Which, by the way, I know I said I'm not a Deadpool fan, but that film rocked.
It absolutely
was so
rocked.
much fun.
It absolutely
so
rocked.
much fun.
And I was surprised how many people were really excited when he walked out on the street. Like, no one really knows who this guy is. But I think a lot of people who were in the know, knew that he wanted to play that role for a long time and didn't give the opportunity.
And unfortunately, the solo film for him got stuck in development hell.
Exactly.
And then it got canned when the property switched hands.
Right. Channing Tatum was amazing, all right?
Mm-hmm.
He was great. I'm glad they're bringing him back, too, because he's, I think they've got future plans for him in future films. So I think that's cool. Now, man, I know. Let's not get sidetracked into Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine because, man, oh, man, you are right. I've seen it. I think I've seen it 3 times. What a great... And I'm not the hugest fan of the first 2 Deadpool movies, you know? I mean, they're fine, but they're too jokey. The inclusion of Wolverine, though, he was... I think that's the best he's ever played Wolverine. I mean, he is emotionally wrecked in this film, man. Hugh Jackman did great in Deadpool and Wolverine.
He did great. Yeah. I love it when Hugh Jackman swears up a storm. And
man.
And he swears up a storm really well in that film.
Yeah, it's great. Wolverine made the movie for me. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it was great.
Wolverine was what drew me in.
Oh, yeah.
I expressed my non-interest in Deadpool. Mm-hmm. I didn't even see the first 2 films.
I mean, you might like them, but they're nothing compared to Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah. That movie was exceptional, honestly. Well, excellent. All right, man. Anything else on this dude?
I will say this: since he's appeared, he is now a constant in the X-Men.
Yeah.
Like he is deeply set as like one of the core X-Men, and not just the book. Like key appearances for him would have been like in the '90s X-Men cartoon, which really just cemented the '90s X-Men cartoon. Yeah, like a lot of media. Like a lot of TV shows and films, there's that whole audience that never read the comic book. Yeah. Their first exposure is that team.
Yeah.
Is that team.
And that show was pretty good. And I see that it's a Chris Claremont character.
Yes.
Which is cool. Mm-hmm. Jim Lee was the artist. I think Jim Lee is the other artist I was kind of mentioning before who I like his work. But I think, has there been Stan Lee characters in this? I'm pretty sure that... Of these characters we've talked about today, some of them are Stan Lee characters, right? At least Juggernaut. Juggernaut's got to be Stan Lee, right? Yeah.
Juggernaut is it.
Really? Because I think the last time we did this, everybody was a Stan Lee character.
Blade was a Marv Wolfman character.
Yeah, Marv Wolfman. Yeah.
No, that was it. That's the only Stan Lee character was Juggernaut.
Oh, kidding, man! I'm gonna have to do some work on this virtual comics intelligence, man, because it can't be keep giving me stuff I don't know about. That makes me mad. Well, anyway, Scott, I think this was great. Any particular character you like the best out of these 6?
Out of all of them, oh wow! I mean, I would have to go with the Punisher,
hands down,
and that's pretty easy.
Yeah, hands down.
I second. Runner-up would be Juggernaut.
Okay.
And then Blade.
Yeah. I don't think there's enough of Blade for me to...
But, Blade is more like an esoteric and me-loving early 70s Marvel horror.
Okay.
And honestly, I can at least say this. I really dug Blade way before the films. Like, I enjoyed him as a supporting character.
Yeah, and I think my first real introduction was the film. I mean, I knew who he was, but not enough to be like watching the movie and like, oh, yeah, Blade, yeah.
I'm going to add one more thing with Blade.
Okay.
It's disappointing that Marvel, as a publisher, was not able to capitalize on those films and turn him into a stronger, regular publication.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get down and dirty with this. Mm-hmm. I bet if Blade, the Vampire Hunter, had been, say, published by Dark Horse Comics,
Oh yeah.
I bet you they would have been able to keep the character going in
Yeah.
publication for a lot longer than Marvel did.
For sure. That seems to fit. Hey man, I'm a fan of everybody on here except for Jessica Jones. I'm just unfamiliar. Black Cat, I really liked her look growing up, man. I was like, man, this chick's hot. That's all I could think of when I was a young man. Oh, what am I saying? I still think she's hot.
Yeah.
Well, cool, Scott. Well, this was a lot of fun. I know I mentioned this last time. Every once in a while when we do these shows, I get depressed because of my collection being stolen. And this would have been 1990. So everything past 1990, it's just whatever I run across online. I'm tearing up. All right, cool. All right, Scott. Well, I appreciate it, buddy. See you next time.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Scott.